It is Monday, March 11th, and the Splash Zone is back in your life. I'm Matt Modine, and I'm here to give you my three favorite NBA player props for tonight's NBA betting slate. So I took the last couple days off from YouTube videos specifically, but luckily I did not take off giving out picks in general, as I still gave out picks to my Dub Club. If you're interested, $5 a month. I have a link to that everywhere in the video. I also gave out the same exact picks on a Twitter as well, just a little bit later. And we were on fire this weekend. So the plays that I gave out on Thursday, the last YouTube video I have, did well. And then the plays I gave out over the weekend did well as well. So if we're tracking from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the 3 days in which I didn't have a YouTube video, we went 9-3 on those picks, up over 6 units on my mainline plays over the weekend. Just an amazing weekend that we had. We've been profitable for 4 straight days heading into today. Now, the latter plays that we had on Thursday did really, really well. Friday and on, the latter plays didn't do as well. We got 2 of our 6 to cash. Now, they are pretty juicy odds. That's the whole point of a ladder play, but I couldn't quite get through a 2-6 win percentage over the weekend. So the ladder plays, we were down a little bit. Overall, obviously, we are up a ton since you last saw me. But like I said, everything was given out on Dub Club for $5 a month or for free on YouTube. In terms of the entire season, the results that we've had are incredible. On our mainline plays, we're up 66.41 units. I never thought that I would be up over 65 units in the middle of March. It's just amazing the success that we're having. And then in terms of ladder plays, which I officially started tracking on February 24th, we're up about a little over 6 units on ladder plays. I wish I had been tracking those all year, because I can assure you we would have been up more than 6 units on the entire season. But I can only start tracking on the day, or I can only at least give you the numbers on the days I officially started tracking. But it's just been an amazing season. Let's hope we can keep this run going as long as possible. I know a cold streak is going to happen. We're going to have a stretch where we're down in 3 or 4 days or something like that. That's just the nature of the beast with how these things go. But I'm going to hope to ride out this heater as long as possible. If you're not already, make sure to like the video, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff does help me out a ton. And let's get into today's picks. Let's get wet. The first play that we're going to go ahead and lock in here. This is in the Pistons versus Hornets game. And I'm taking Miles Bridges over 22.5 points. This is best offered at -112 odds at BetRivers. So this was a play that I did. I didn't find it, but I did confirm via the unabated market-based projections. They have Miles Bridges projected to score about 24 points in this one. So it was a nice positive EV play according to their projections. That's not the end-all be-all. That's not the only reason why I'm on this play. But it's nice to see that this new source that I've been looking at, because they just came out with these market-based projections, are agreeing with the pick that I have, at least for this one. So this play, I will say, goes a little bit against my ethos, because Miles Bridges has been playing pretty well recently. He's cashed this over in 2 straight games, scoring 32 and 24 points. But he did have a pretty brutal stretch prior to that, so it's not like he's consistently been red hot or anything like that. And the reason why I like this play for Bridges tonight, it's all because of the matchup against the Pistons, right? That's what I do a lot in this YouTube video, is I just try to target the best matchups based on where the player scores. That's exactly what we're doing with this one. According to Courtside Pal, the Pistons are giving up the 2nd most points per game to Miles Bridges' shooting profile and the 4th most points to his scoring profile. So 4th to shooting, 2nd to shooting, 4th to scoring. I mixed that up. But either way, regardless of how you look at it, a very good matchup for how Miles Bridges scores. And that makes sense when you dig into the matchup. Miles Bridges scores the most points per game for the Hornets via drives since the All-Star break, and he scores the most points on the Hornets via isolation plays as well. The Pistons are allowing the 3rd most points per game via ISO in the NFL. And the reason why the Pistons defense is so bad is they foul at such a high rate. They just cannot help themselves from fouling. Now, Miles doesn't get to the line like a Joel Embiid, like a Luka Doncic, like a guy that's amongst the best in the entire league. But he does get fouled among the most, specifically on the Hornets. And he also gets fouled about 11.3% of the time, specifically on isolation possessions. That's the best on the Hornets for ISO guys. 11.3 again. That's like Jason Tatum level of foul rate, so it's not amazing. But at least it's just free points that he's getting more so than anybody else on the Hornets. Another reason why I like this play is because Tre Mann is listed as doubtful. Obviously, it's unlikely that he plays. And since the All-Star break, Miles Bridges, when Tre Mann is off the court, He has the highest usage rate on the Hornets, and he has the highest usage rate increase specifically when Trey Mann isn't on the court. So not only does he just have the highest usage rate in general, he also has the highest usage rate increase when Mann is off the court. He averages 9 more points per 36 minutes when Mann sits. And the last 2 games in which I said that Miles Bridges has been playing well, Trey Mann did not play in those games. And as I mentioned, he scored 32 and 24 points. So I like the Miles Bridges angle in this one. I'm not going to ladder him to 25 or anything like that, at least as of right now. If I do, obviously, I'll let you guys know. Just sticking with the mainline play over 22.5. Next up, Mavericks versus Bulls game. Kobe White, 4+ made 3-pointers, plus 170 odds at FanDuel. And I'm also going to go ahead and ladder him to 5+ made 3-pointers as well, putting a quarter unit on that at plus 420 odds. Kobe White was one of the plays that I went with last week that he did come through in cash for us. He literally cashed it in the first half. So if he can do that again today, that would be amazing. And this Mavs Bulls game in general is going to be so juicy for 3-point props. Since the All-Star break, these two teams both are among the worst in the NBA at guarding the 3-point line. And they're playing each other, just going to be bombs away from 3-point line. And White is my favorite play for the Bulls on this one. He takes by far, not even close, by far, he takes and makes the most catch-and-shoot 3-pointers for the Bulls. He's basically the only guy on the team that really gets consistent shots up. He fires away from deep. Nobody else on the Bulls is really that high volume of a shooter. He also takes and makes the most above the break 3-pointers for the Bulls as well, unsurprisingly, considering the fact that he fires away. And since the All-Star break, the Mavs are giving up the most made catch-and-shoot 3-pointers in the entire NBA, and the 6th most made above the break 3-pointers in the NBA as well. And the amount of, if you just look at their matchups recently, look at like the All-Star break and on, the amount of 3-pointers that the Mavericks have given up, specifically to guards, shooting guards or point guards, is just silly. 2 games ago, about 5 days ago, the Mavs gave up 5 3-pointers, 5 made, I should say, to Duncan Robinson. 4 made 3-pointers to RJ Barrett at the end of February. 7 to Donovan Mitchell, and 7 to Max Strus in the same game. 5 made 3-pointers to Terry Rozier, the same game Duncan Robinson also at 5. 5 made 3-pointers to Emmanuel Quickley, the same game that RJ Barrett made 4. Just a ton of 3-pointers they've given up. And Kobe White, shown the ability to get up a ton of shots in these types of juicy matchups, right? Look at a 2-game stretch that he had last week. Combined 12 made 3-pointers against the Kings and the Jazz. He made 5 against the Kings, 7 against the Jazz. Those are 2 teams that give up a lot of 3-pointers, especially the Jazz. Prior to that, at the end of February, or right around the beginning of the All-Star break, he had another 2-game stretch against the Cavaliers and the Celtics where he made a combined 9 3-pointers, cashing 5 in one game and 4 in the other. Those teams give up a lot of pull-up 3-pointers specifically. He also, like I said, he just shoots the most on the Bulls by far. I expect him to continue to get up a ton of shots in this one. Absolutely love the Kobe White angle for this game. Next up, same game, Mavs versus Bulls. I'm taking PJ Washington, 3+ made 3-pointers, plus 220 odds at FanDuel. So for our last pick, we're going to go ahead and stick in the same game, go with another 3-point prop. The only team that's worse than the Mavericks at guarding the 3-point line, that would be the Chicago Bulls. And that is not All-Star break specific. That's on the entire year. And they've just gotten worse since the All-Star break as well. So I knew for this game, I wanted to target a guy on each team. Obviously, Kobe White for the Bulls, going with PJ Washington for the Mavericks. Now, obviously, Luka Doncic takes the most 3-pointers on the Mavericks by far, right? He's going to get up a ton of shots. He's been on fire recently. He's been so efficient. I just couldn't quite get there with Luka. I actually think this is going to be more of an assist game for Luka as it is for scoring. But I think that in terms of this matchup, it's great for PJ Washington, right? There was a stretch where PJ Washington, he made 3 or more 3-pointers in a 3 or 4 game stretch since he's been a member of the Mavericks. Since then, he's missed it in 2 straight games. That goes right along in line with my ethos, right? That is the type of plays that I like to have where I'm fading recent events. He hasn't shot well the past 2 games. He did in the previous 3 of 4. Only makes sense for things to start to swing back in the positive way for PJ Washington. And as I mentioned, great matchup for him. Since the All-Star break, he is taking and making the most catch-and-shoot 3-pointers for the Mavericks. He is attempting about 4.9 per game, essentially 5 per game. The next closest guy is at 3.3. So it's a full shot and a half higher. in terms of attempts than the next closest guy on the team. And then the Bulls are allowing the most catch and shoot 3-point attempts in the entire NBA, also by a massive margin since the All-Star break, right? Since February 22nd, they're allowing 32.6 catch and shoot 3-point attempts in the NBA. They're allowing 32.6. The next closest team is 29.1. It's an over 3 attempt difference between them and the next closest team in terms of attempts. So the Mavericks are allowing the most made catch and shoot 3-pointers. The Bulls are allowing the most attempted. And teams are only shooting 33% against the Bulls on catch and shoot 3-point attempts since the All-Star break. So the reason why they're not among the most made is just because, like I said, teams aren't shooting well, but that's not because they're playing good defense. That's just how shooting goes, right? Sometimes defenses will have a hot stretch that is literally you can define by is the team making open 3-point attempts or not. Against the Bulls, they haven't been recently, but I love the fact that they're giving up a ton of attempts, and teams are eventually going to start shooting better against the Bulls. The Bulls are also allowing the second most both made and attempted corner 3-pointers as well since the All-Star break, and PJ Washington is tied for attempting the most on the Mavericks since the All-Star break. And Washington has also been in a little bit of a shooting slump himself in terms of percentages. The volume is there, so like I said, he did cash it in 3 of 4 games, but he's not shooting at a super high number, so he even has an opportunity to get hot against a team that is ready for players to get hot against them. So he's taking the right shots. He's playing over 30 minutes per game. I think he's going to attempt a bunch of shots in this one. Just got to hope he has enough efficiency to make at least 3 for us. And that's all we got. 3 plays for you guys to lock in. Make sure to like, comment, as I mentioned, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And then the last thing I'll say, I mention it at the end of every video, is I do have a Dub Club that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. It's only $5 a month. And the way it works is everything that you see me give out for free on either YouTube or Twitter, I give out early on Dub Club. So if you don't want to wait until the odds change, you can get it on Dub Club, get it texted to you immediately. A lot of people were complaining by the time they watched the YouTube video, the odds had changed. So I came out with the Dub Club as a way to just combat that. There are also people that just want to tail the picks that I give out, but they don't care about the YouTube analysis, or they sometimes don't always have time to watch the YouTube videos. So I give them the Dub Club as an option. I'm only charging $5 a month for it because you can get everything for free that you can get on the Dub Club, right? If you pay, you get it $5 a month, you get it early, you get it texted to you, or you get it for free on YouTube and Twitter. You just have to wait a little bit. However you want it is totally fine with me. I just like to give people the option, and that's all we got. Appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.